Ripple by the Grateful Dead. Beautiful song, very simple, kind of folky feel to it, but a great melody. And the real challenge is just keeping the bass line, the sort of continuously moving bass line, going with the melody and those chords underneath it. And so it starts right out in the verse. It's basically the same melody in the recorded version of the song. There's an intro, which is just the melody. I decided to basically bypass the intro and just go ahead right into the verse, which again is the same melody, but I'm playing it down in a lower octave. Later we'll move up to the higher octave. So to start out. Okay. And as always, when I'm playing a melody down here in the lower part of the guitar, I move my hand a little closer to the bridge just to give it a bit more articulation. You know, some more treble closer to the bridge. So I do a bit of that. So. Okay, then I often add just a few notes in between, a few notes of the chord in between, kind of swinging it a little bit because it kind of swings, kind of like that, just to fill out the chords a little bit, but it's really about the melody and the bass line. Okay, and this little move can be a little complicated because you're playing a melody note using your middle finger on the G string, and moving up in the bass note right after it. So if it's easier, you can also do this. Beginning, then so go up to the, instead of the open string, you can go on the 4th fret of the G string, whichever feels more natural to you, and continuing on. And I have a few hammer-ons, you can just pick them too, whatever's comfortable. And this is that walk down in quarters that also you need to watch a melody line of it. So briefly you're hitting this basically E minor for completing the melody. Then the second half. These notes sustain as long as possible. Just fill up the sound. Okay. And now I'm going to go up an octave. Play a simple version of the melody, but an octave up. Okay. Now here's where I introduce this. This is probably the trickiest move. So we're basically outlining that ascending bass progression. So again, like that. So it's not a huge stretch, but it's not so much a lateral stretch as it is a stretch like this. I'm using my index finger on the high E while using my ring finger on the low E string. If that's uncomfortable for you, like this, so you can do it like this. So move your index up to the 7th fret, hit this on the 10th fret, then hit your bass note before going to the C. So again. Okay, then repeating it, or finishing out the first half. Okay, there's a couple times where I do these slides where I pick up the bass note, and I just, even though the bass note disappears for a second, just make sure the melody is very strong and it won't be noticed. Again, those notes happening while you're descending, then the second half, repeat. Finishing out the line. another slide. And we're into what really is basically a bridge or a chorus. You have to watch your bass notes here. You're going between the A and the E open. You don't want them just bleeding each other. It gets really muddy down there, so make sure to mute them a little bit. Either with your left hand or your right hand. Keeping that alternating bass going. Once again, just be conscious of how long the notes are held out. Really follow those. You don't want it to get muddy, but you want them to sustain as long as possible. Okay, then it's basically a repeat of the second half of the first one. Then after that, the second half, then I add some harmony to it. And this is probably the most tricky part. And this is really optional. You could just repeat it twice, or you can do this. Like that. Not a big stretch. That's right, then I'm going to C. Basically it's a C bar chord, but once again, or you can do it just so we can slide up those fingers. The C bar chord while forming the melody and doing the bass line, taking advantage of the open string there, and it repeats. Then repeating what's from the second verse. Do that, or like that, or really up to you there. And once again, the bridge or the verse, exactly the same as the first time. Okay. Then I go down low one more time. Just like the beginning. That's the whole thing. Okay. And then at the very end, then this is sort of echoing the very last part of the song at the end of the recording, where it's like a whole group vocal sing along. So I'm adding as many strings as possible into the chord. Very full sound to imitate like a room full of people singing. So whenever I have a chord, hitting as many notes as possible. Sort of full volume too. So there's some tricky moves in there. The most important thing is that melody. And you can play it very straight. You can play it in the same octave if you like. Or you can add in some of the other flavors too. So hope it's useful to you. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.